Hello, everyone. It's your marriage and success strategist, Eric and Dr. Sakeisha Hylick of Marriage Can Win. And look, we're super excited. We've been getting your calls, your DMs, your text messages, talking about all the nuggets of wisdom that you have been receiving here through our second season, the Business Blueprint Edition. And guess what? This evening is no different. I hope you have your paper, your pen, and you're ready to take plenty of notes because we have a phenomenal guest that's joining us this evening. You better be ready for these nuggets of wisdom because I am excited, MIC. Cannot wait for him to come to the stage. Listen, you've been talking about wanting to take your business to the next level. You've been talking about the branding and asking questions about the marketing. And then you guys have been saying, hey, how do we build our sales? Well, we have the sales team guru himself in the house ready to pour into you guys. So I am so excited. Eric, what about you?
I'm super excited because we've also known this person as a friend, a mentor, just a great person. You cannot be sad around this person.
No.
There's no sadness in his presence. And when he's there, he commands the presence in the room.
Yeah, because he is the happy entrepreneur. And let me tell you, he shifts the atmosphere. There's nothing, when you get in the room with him, there's just nuggets of wisdom flowing. And I'm so excited about him being here. Tonight, we are going to be talking about building your 7-figure sales team. And I know couples have been telling me they've been struggling. How do I continue to grow my sales? How do I build my sales team? So we are going to bring before you this evening none other than Shay Brown, the sales team guru himself. Shay, how are you doing this evening?
What's going on, Eric? What's going on, Dr. Sakeisha? What's going on to all of your audience? I'm so excited to be in the building with the Marriage Can Win show. I couldn't think of a better place to be than right here with you, where you're not only, as I saw, helping folks educate them, but you're also empowering. You're helping couples stay together, and I'm a couple, so I'm a married guy, so I'm definitely learning from you. But you're also helping businesses do more that makes the family stronger, that makes the community better, that makes this nation such what it is today. So thank you for all that you do with the Marriage Can Win show. It is an honor to be here. I'm super excited. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, of course. We love him. Now, a lot of people say, I've seen him before, but tell everybody a little bit about you, a little about your background, how you got started.
Maybe just for the few people who may not know who Shay Brown is. Now, I know the name is everywhere, but can you share with our listeners and our viewers just a little bit?
Sure. I'm still trying to figure out who I am, but if the question which I heard is, how did I get to where I'm at today? I'm like every single one of you who are out there watching and out there listening. I'm a guy that wants to have a happy relationship, but I had 2 marriages that just didn't work out and they failed. And so I'm on my 3rd marriage now, and I'm very, very happy. I found my soulmate. So I'm like every one of you. I'm also an entrepreneur, and my role is to help entrepreneurs generate revenue in their business so they can have the resources that are necessary to execute the big vision they have for the people they were called to serve. And the challenge that a lot of entrepreneurs I have are either 2 challenges, right? One challenge is either struggling to attract clients who actually have money, or they're struggling to scale their business. So I got here because I failed in about a minute. I've only worked for 2 companies my whole career. I worked for Citibank after undergraduate, failed. Started my business, failed. And then along came a guy by the name of Eric Loftholm, and he kind of helped me understand that you can sell and help folks. And this was a defining moment for me because I was ready to give up, ready not to keep going in my business. And I learned just this one idea. And I'm coming to you, Dr. Sakeisha and Eric, but this one idea I learned, and that is selling equals service. Selling equals service. Put that down in your notes. Selling equals service. So the minute I started chasing the money, and I started adding value, the money started chasing me. Let me say that again. Stop chasing the money, add value, and the money will chase you. So that's how I got here, serving, helping other folks. My mom served in the church as a bishop for over 40 years, by the way, a small Pentecostal church that grew. My dad served in the civil rights movement. He served as a politician. He served his community for a number of years till he passed away. So I guess I'm still in that same vein. I'm still serving people every day and helping them do what they do best.
Well, I tell you, that's just awesome. And it's awesome to be a server. And I know we've definitely been, that sponge. And every time that you speak and every time that you teach and your shows, because you have shows that normally are at late night hours, we're up just gleaning and hearing and listening. And so.
Yeah, and I think it's really, really amazing when you start talking about one of the key things that you shared that I think is really important. You shared, or you were transparent about the fact that you went through this phase where, you worked with Citibank, but you're not hiding the fact that like you said, you failed in those areas. So I want to encourage the listeners to understand, don't look at the chapter that you're currently in on. That's not the end to your story. You can go through setbacks, but you can come back. And I think that's so important to say, you know what? This phase of my life didn't work out the way I wanted to, but it did not end there. And I think that's so important. So to those listeners out there, if you're struggling, if you feel like, you know what, I went through this chapter in my business, I went through this chapter in my marriage, I went through this chapter in my relationship with finances, with building my sales team, and I had some challenges, but I'm not going to give back. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stay stuck there. So what was that moment? You talked a little bit about your defining moment, but when you're talking about some of the things that you've accomplished, how did you decide, you know what, I'm going to start building and pouring into other entrepreneurs about building these 7-figure sales team? What was that just said, you know what, this is what I'm called to do? Because you've been serving, but how did you know that was just it?
So there I was, Sakeisha. I was upstairs working in my office as an entrepreneur, as we all do. And my sons came running upstairs and said, Dad, guess what? I said, what? They said, someone is still in the car. I said, oh, no. So I run down the steps. I look out the steps. And as I look out the window, there's my Lexus truck, RX 300, by the way, being hosted up by a tow truck. And I look at the guy, look at my sons, look at the guy. I give him the nod. He gives me the nod back. And I turn to my sons and I said, don't worry. The car is just going to the garage. I lied. And it was in that moment that I had the never again moment. Now, maybe you never had your car repossessed. I understand that. Maybe you've never been through a divorce. I can understand that. But maybe you can relate to a never again moment where you told yourself, never again would you have to lie to your kids about something that took place. Never again. This is what I told myself when I only have one customer that would determine whether I pay my mortgage or not. Never again when I hit the light switch. And guess what? The TV doesn't come on because the cable's not working. What was your never again moment in your life? That was a defining moment for me because I felt like a failure. Well, as a father, a failure certainly as a husband, a failure as an entrepreneur because I'm not making any money. And that only led to feeling as a failure as a man at the end of the day. And that was in that never again moment that I told myself, what can I do? Now, I didn't have all the answers. Like many of you, I went out and watched some videos. And back then, we didn't have stuff like we have now. But there was a gentleman that came along the way, and his name was Eric Loftholm. And I borrowed $5,000 in 1 minute or less. I borrowed $5,000 from my brother to fly out to Rockland, California, because there was a person. Isn't that how life is? You need someone to give you a guide along the way. And they said, I can help you in business. When I got there, he said, Shay, why don't you focus on sales training? Sales training? I'm a business consultant. Can't you see? No one was hiring me. And isn't that how life is? Sometimes you teach that which you don't want to do because you had to learn it. And you think there might be someone out there like me. They got a big heart. Maybe that's you. They want to do some good in the world. Maybe that's you. But they hate selling. They hate the sound of selling. They don't want to sound like someone else. They don't want to use a script. They just want to be who they are. And that, Sakeisha, is when I decided that I'm going to teach myself. And if anyone wanted to learn what I was learning, I would teach them. Jot this down in your notes. You got to bet on you. You got to bet on you. So I bet on me to learn a new skill. And as I was betting on me, I was teaching other folks. And that's how we drifted to teaching other folks really how to build a sales team so they can generate revenue in their business that allows them to pay for it. You got to pay for resources. It costs to have a website. It costs to have a coach. It costs to be able to run Facebook ads. It costs to put on events. And so that's how we got to where we are now, Sakeisha. And I'm so glad to be here on Marriage Can Win. And I'm glad you have this business blueprint because you're bringing some of the best experts, not just me, but other folks that are teaching these ideas and teaching the lessons they learned so that we can be the bridge. And that's why I'm here, to be the bridge from where someone is now to their passion, to their purpose, to they can do the things they want to do and serve those they were called to serve. We're the bridge to help entrepreneurs get what they need to do what they have to do.
You know, that is just awesome because we have a lot of people who are looking at the show right now and they're listening and they're saying, man, wow, you know, I'm going through that transition time and I'm not sure what to do, where to go, and how to do it, you know. And the thing is that, you know, it's a common thing, especially because of this pandemic. So this is the time where we're going to pivot. We're going to take this pandemic and we're going to pivot into our wealthy and prosperity area. So, you know, we talk with a lot of couples and we listen to what they're doing. And typically they fall into 3 or 4 different areas when it comes to business. You normally have one that's in corporate America and one who's an entrepreneur. Then, you know, that's a dynamic as it is. Then you have when you have both spouses that are in entrepreneurship, they have their own businesses. They have separate businesses. And so that's a whole nother dynamic there. Then you have a couple where they're both in business, they're entrepreneurs and they're in the same business. So, I mean, there are also there's so many challenges, there's so many obstacles just dealing with being married, yet alone working together in a business, whether it's the same business, separate business, one is in business and the one is not in the business. Can you say, give a little bit of, can you speak to those couples that are in that situation and give them some nuggets on, well, you know, what should we do to make that synergy so our businesses can thrive?
Sure. I'm in that scenario where I'm a full-time entrepreneur and my wife is not into entrepreneurship at all. And she's a government worker, 22 years, and serving on the military side, the Army. And so you're right, it's a total dynamic because of 3 factors, as you mentioned. The first one is just cash flow, right? That's a factor. The factor is your time is no longer yours. And then the third is the interruptions that can take place throughout the day. And so how do you be able to balance that? Now, I've learned some things. I'm on my 3rd time, right? So I've learned some things. I have my AARP card now. I'm part of the Puff Daddy generation. I got remixed versions on everything. And so I'm remixing things to be better today than I was then, right? And so here's, Eric, one of our 12 rules of life, and Dr. Sakeisha that's helped me. And it's a principle that while I apply to business, I've been able to apply it in my personal life and a relationship as well. And that's someone I've dated for 10 years, and we've been together 2.5 years married. So 12 years, I think, all together. I should know. Oops, wrong answer, right? But here's what I learned.
We'll
I'm not
cut
perfect.
that part out.
I'm not perfect, but she knows I'm getting better every day. Okay, I'm not perfect. Yeah. She knows I'm getting better every day. And so the message, Eric, to your question is that systems beat goals every single time. It's one of our 12 rules for life. We've got 12 rules, and one of the rules for life is that systems beat goals every single time because systems are duplicatable. Systems are repeatable. And systems are something you can hand to someone else. And goals, Eric and Dr. Sakeisha, in my opinion, they're always in the future. People say, well, Shay, how's that different? Because goals are in the future. And the future, by definition, does not exist. Our mind only operates in 3 quadrants I'm aware of. The past, which we can do nothing about. The present, which we're in right now. And the future, which does not exist because we're always in the present moment. There's a moment, right. There's a moment, there's a moment. And so we had to develop systems for us to be able to communicate. When I say communicate, you know, FaceTime is our thing because she's in Texas. We're a 2-state family. I'm here. We're back and forth. We had to communicate throughout the day. When there is time, the time first priority is her to communicate what's going on. And while she may not be into business, what I've learned is she still likes to know what's going on. Like she likes to know what's going on in my day. Now, sometimes I think she doesn't be listening, but I like to tell her anyway. And so the answer to your question is, what systems do you have in place for your relationship that helps you with your health, that helps you with your happiness, and that helps you with your wealth. And those are the three areas, Eric, that she and I have decided are our priorities: our health, our happiness, and our wealth. And so you have to have systems in place in order to make that a reality. Why our health first? That we want to live long, we want to be vibrant, we want to be energetic, we want to have the stamina, we want to have the clarity, we want to have the creativity. And so we're spending money. You know, when I heard that LeBron James spends $1 million on his body, $1 million.
Yes, I
looked at my wife and said, well, shoot, I should at least be 10 grand, right? I have a personal trainer, and that's already expensive. But I said, there's more that we can do. And so we have a nutritionist now. We have 2 personal trainers, and we're doing some other things and taking stuff. But we said we're going to bet on ourselves and with our health. So Eric asked, how do you balance the two? It's by setting a system, and you would probably call it a priority, in place. So health was number one. And then we said our happiness, what makes us happy? Well, now she's scheduling time where we're traveling to do things together. I don't know when I'm going. All I know is she blocks the calendar, and I'm going to be someplace, somewhere, and that's our time together. And that creates happiness. Yes. That creates moments and memories. And then last, but most importantly, is the money. It's the wealth. Yeah. When you have more money, you can have more meaning in the world. When you have more money, you can have more impact. When you have more money, you have more choices, and you have more freedom, and you can help and serve more people. And so we decided, how are we going to give what we have back to other folks to help them, not along the way, but take what they're doing and make it better. And so that's how we've been able to do it. It's 2 folks are not in business together, but we're a couple together, so we are one.
Well, you know, that's awesome. And I want to ask this question because this is what those business couples, or what we call couplepreneurs, are thinking. They're like, wow, you know, that sounds so great, but how do we get this business going to the next level? Also, the couples that are thinking, well, yeah, let's go into business together because it looks and sounds so easy. But I know from working with my wife over 5 years, and we've been working into marriage ministry for over 16 years together, that it takes some synergy, and it takes some time to working together and changing our mentality and thinking about mentality as an entrepreneur in business. But I have learned too that one thing, a business is not a business if it's not making sales. Other than that, it's called a hobby. You have a great hobby, you have a purpose, and you have a passion, and you have mission. But if you ain't making any money, it's not a business. And you're not an entrepreneur. You're just spending money on you have a very expensive hobby. So, but you being the happy entrepreneur, and you know how to build those 6- and 7-figure sales team. Can you share a little bit about that 7-figure sales team?
Sure. Let me give one idea, and I'll share that. And I think it's important to frame the conversation that in business, I believe the number one way to be successful, and it's one of our 12 rules for life. We've got 12 rules, but I want to give you another rule in the time I have, and that is collaboration crushes competition. Collaboration crushes competition. Take a look at your collaborations. Take a look at your partnerships. Take a look at what you're giving and what they're bringing to it as well. Now, as it relates to a 7-figure sales team, that's just one big collaboration. Why is it a collaboration? Because there's 5 levels that you need in order to have a 7-figure sales team. Let me give you the 5 functions if you can. Most folks think you just need a salesperson. I'll hire a salesperson, they'll bring in all the money, and that's how I'll generate 7 figures. No, it's not just one person. You do need a salesperson, and I like to always share with folks, you're one hire away from doubling your revenue in your business. One hire. Of course, that one hire, I believe, is a salesperson. I just believe you're one hire. If you're not generating revenue yourself, then hire somebody that can. So you're one hire away. So a sales rep is number one. They understand 100% of your products and services. They get paid 100% commission. That means you don't pay anything unless they bring in money. It works very, very well. The second tier that you need is you need a sales ambassador. Now, this is very important because a sales ambassador, they're not in it for the money, but they're in it because they believe in your mission, your goals, and your objectives. So you think about Amazon, you think of what Amazon does, you think about Apple. What Apple does, you go into Apple store, they only manufacture 30% of the products in there. Everything else, they are really ambassadors for. Buy this headset, buy this radio, buy this, buy that. And so they get paid by doing that, but they're not in it just for the money. They're in it because they believe in the products and services they offer. The third tier that you need is you need a sales affiliate. Now, a sales affiliate is different because than a sales ambassador. Sales ambassadors in it because they believe in your mission, your goals, your objectives. The sales affiliate, they're in it because they're a mercenary. They get paid to bring business to you. And they typically understand one or two of your products. And though your product is a bridge to what they're doing. So if I'm a business coach and I have a relationship with someone who is a website designer, then I am the bridge to help people get websites. And so sometimes I tell folks, you can have sales affiliates that selling your products and services, but it's just as profitable to be on the other side. You don't have to be the solution to everybody's problem. It's just important to be the bridge to get them to where they want to get to, and you get paid. And so I want you to ask yourself a question as I'm going through this. How much revenue has your business generated with just a sales rep that did not have your labor? If the answer is none or not enough, then I'm glad you're here. You can thank the Marriage Can Win show. How much revenue have you generated from just your sales ambassadors, folks who are just in it because they believe in your mission, your goals, and your objectives? If the answer is none or not enough, I'm glad you're here. How much revenue last time have you generated from just your sales affiliates? That's something you can do. You don't need to hire anybody. You can ask folks, will you be an affiliate? I'm going to pay you to bring traffic to my site. You can set that up. If the answer is none or not enough, then I'm going to encourage you to do that. Those are 3 steps. Didn't get into the digital sales solution. That's generating revenue through your automated evergreen sales funnel without your labor. But you get the point. How much money did you generate just online without your labor? Do the math. Probably none or not enough. That's how you build a 7-figure sales team. You collaborate with many different groups that come together. Collaboration crushes competition.
Wow. And I really think that is so key. So I completely, I was so excited about the nuggets of wisdom that I knew Shay was going to be bringing, which he is. I forgot to tell everybody, make sure that you drop in as you're coming into the room what city and state you're listening from, so we can definitely shout you out. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put those in the chat as well, because we'll make sure that we'll get Shay to field some questions if we have an opportunity, because this is amazing. I mean, I'm just sitting here listening to all these nuggets of wisdom. I am running out of paper. I'm running out of space in my notebook. And I was just thinking about it. And you've been talking a lot about, things that you went through and how you transitioned from one phase of your life to another. So is that what kind of precipitated the comeback champion? Because you're known as the sales team guru, you're the happy entrepreneur. But the comeback champion is just, those words are just resonating, because I want our entrepreneurs, I want our listeners to know that you can come as you are, but you don't have to stay as you are. You can shift and transition, just like we tell our couples, when they come on the Marriage Can Win show, that this is just a phase that you're going through. You're transitioning from one phase to another, and we help guide you through that. How do you do that, or how do you facilitate that as a comeback champion? Because I've been watching your videos and your posts online, and they are just phenomenal. So can you share with our listeners a little bit about being a comeback champion?
Sure. One of our 12 rules for life is that you can be down, but not out. You can be down, but not out. And it's okay. You're going to get hit. You're going to get punched. You're going to find yourself knocked down. The only question is, you remind yourself that you're never out because of one common belief, and that is this one belief, and that is that champions always come back. Her question was, what's the origin? What led to champions come back? It wasn't some marketing hyperbole that I just, maybe we should do this. The 1-minute story is, we have a show called Happy Entrepreneur Show. We were in the discussion with something called Entrepreneur, and they have something called Magazine at the end. And we found ourselves in this trademark war where we won, but we're going back and forth. I have a call with my attorney, the bookkeeper. She comes to me and she said, Shay, we got a problem. You can no longer use the Happy Entrepreneur brand. I'm like, what? I've got a conference coming up. It's going to be called Happy Entrepreneur Conference Summit, by the way. And I said, okay. And I said, why? And she told me why. And I said, well, okay, well, so what? I've been through 2 divorces. We come back from that. I failed in my personal life, and I've come back from that. Who cares what we call this thing? She says, let's call it Comeback Champion, Shay. Now, Tony Moore started this, not me. Tony Moore said, I am a comeback champion, Shay. This morning, my car didn't start. My husband and I had to come back from that. By the way, when my kids get in trouble in school, we got to come back from that. I got an email from a client today that made my whole day go upside and down. I had to come back for that. Call it Comeback Champion. Dr. Sakeisha Hylick, the only reason I called it Comeback Champion is that 80% of our audience are women. And I said to myself, okay, if you like it, I love it. I only got 30 days. I got to make a decision. And so we called it Comeback Champion Summit. Yeah, I've come back, but I didn't know now what I knew. I didn't know then what I know now. And that is that it would turn into a movement, and that more folks would see themselves as, not because they come back from something tragic, but because successful people always fail. Winners' goals are so high, in many cases, they don't hit them every single time. I think it was number 44, President Barack Obama, that says if you're hitting your goals consistently on an ongoing basis, your goals are too small. And so we don't hit it. So we reset, we recalibrate, and then we come back again. And then we may get it a second or third time. And so we started attracting folks like myself and you and others that said, you know what? I'm a comeback champion every single day. So yeah, it resonates. If you're out there listening right now, I want you to know that you're a comeback champion. Champions always come back. And that's how it got started. That's the backstory. It was something that just happened.
Wow. So for all of our listeners, for the couples that are listening, maybe you're coming back from bankruptcy, maybe you're coming back from a setback with your children or trust issues in your relationships, you could be coming back from so many different things, unexpected job loss or things of this nature, or unexpected illness, but you too can be a comeback champion. Your marriage can win. Your business can win. And I'm so excited that you just took this moment to sit down and glean from the nuggets of wisdom that are flowing in the midst of this conversation. And as Shay is just sharing these rules of business, that these levels that you need in your business, you are in the process of being set up for a comeback. Yes. And so I am excited. I mean, I am literally, you know how you're supposed to be focused, and I'm like, ooh, I'm learning more.
I really like how you said that, because that's so spot on. I'm thinking when sometimes people hear the words champions always come back, they get excited and think it's just about the energy. And that's not what it's about. They think it's just about, I've got to get excited. Champions do three words, and jot these 3 words down. I'll come right back to you, but I want to make sure that you don't just get intellectually stimulated, that you don't just get excited and get motivated for a moment, but you have something you can walk away with, because that's what this whole business blueprint that you're doing right now, Dr. Sakeisha and Eric Hylick, is you're putting this together. And here it is. Champions always 3 words: find a way to make it happen. Yes. Right. And they revolve back to 3 main principles. They take responsibility for whatever happened, good, bad, or indifferent. And then they take action towards what they have to do. My mama, and I told you I grew up in a Pentecostal church, and my mother would say, she was a bishop in a small Pentecostal church when we first started with 38 members and 28 kids. I was one of the kids. That means I got in a lot of trouble, by the way. But she would always say that at some point, your faith have to hit your feet. And so I take from that remix version, part of the Puff Daddy generation, is that you've got to take action. But she would say your faith got to hit your feet. So most folks think, oh, I'm a comeback champion. I now believe, yes, I took responsibility, but they never take action. Their faith never hits their feet. And then after you take action, then you got to have the discipline to do the things that you know you should do, even when you don't feel like it. You find a way. And that's what being a comeback champion is about. You got to accept responsibility. Sometimes things didn't work out because you got sucker punch. I understand that. Or as my good friend would say, you got hit with the punch that you never saw coming. That happens. But in many cases, we caused it ourselves. I'm guilty. I've done that more than once. And so we've got to take responsibility for it. Then we've got to take action to go in the right direction. And then we find a way to do it consistently. Consistency is the key. And that's the message I would have for everyone that's married, everyone's in a couple, all relationships right now. If Eric and Dr. Sakeisha said, Shay, sum it up in one word, how would I sum it up to you that really I believe it's going to be my happiness for my future for doing the 3 things that I want to do? Not about me sharing my story, so I'm sharing it with you. It'd be one word. It's consistency. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. And having said that, what everybody struggle with, consistency. That's why you got to get what Marriage Can Win. Make sure you tune into their episodes. Make sure you tune into what they're doing, because they're consistent at what they're doing. I've had a chance to watch them and be a part of what they're doing. And I'm like, one thing they are is they're freaking consistent. Okay. You got to say that they are consistent. And isn't that where the magic happens? consistent in loving each other, consistent in communicating, consistent in making sure you hear the other person. So Eric and Sakeisha, I'm watching you. You say you're watching me. I'm watching you. So, that our relationship that we have can be just as happy, just as blissful as what we're seeing that you're doing on the other side. I know it's a lot of work, but hey, we signed up for this program, right? So we got to do
Yes,
work.
we did. Yes, we did. Now I'm going to piggyback off of what you're saying, and we have an acronym called
You're reading my mind.
Action changes things. You got to have actions because we can talk about it. We can get, like you say, we can get excited at the moment, but if there is no action, there's no change, and things stay the same. Now, we make sure that with couples and business, we partner with like-minded people like you. You put the couples in the business together, we have a couplepreneur, and this is the blueprint. So we have the sales blueprint, we have the business blueprint, we have the relationship blueprint. We also have a way as Marriage Can Win, like you said. Marriage Can Win. We have something called the Marriage Win Academy. I just want to throw that out there because we have a free download to your iPhone, your Android that you can download. But go to marriagecanwinacademy.com and create your login and also download your app to your iPhone and your Android.
Wow, that's powerful. You were reading my mind because I was thinking about that. Action changes things. Because Shay said something really key. Consistency is key. Now, we can give you the blueprint. Shay can give you the blueprint, but you got to put some action behind it. A lot of times it's enough learning and it's time to start implementing the changes that you're learning. That's the purpose of the academy. It's not for us to just talk to you consistently, but to give you the nuggets for you to implement if you truly want to be the change that you see in your relationship. But one of the things I know our time is winding up with Shay, and I'm sitting here like, no, God, slow down the time, because we're learning so much. But how can our listeners and our viewers stay connected with you, Shay?
One of the biggest challenges I know that entrepreneurs have every single day is how do they have a pipeline of leads to turn into buyers? Like you want to serve, but you still want to fill your programs. You want to sell your products, but end of the day, many of you are looking to scale your business. And when you're struggling to attract clients who actually have money, it can present a little bit of challenge. So we put together the Evergreen Revenue Playbook because we know at the end of the day, folks don't have time in many cases to sit down and read pages and pages and pages and pages of books. So I said, you know what? What if I take the best ideas that I know? And what if I just put in a little package and you out there, you can just go over to evergreenrevenueplaybook.com and you had the playbook to generate revenue on an ongoing basis in your business. And you can just hit a button and you can just listen to it. Like, okay, I know some of you like to read, but I'm an Audible guy. Okay. So some of you can read the stuff because we made it readable. But for those that are Audibles and for all my dualpreneurs out there and all the women out there that work hard, guys are listening as well. But those women that keep the AirPods in your ears, God bless you while you're cooking, while you're in the grocery store, while you're picking up the kids, while you're driving. I just admire all of you and what you're doing. So we built the Evergreen Revenue Playbook. Everybody can benefit, but for those that got to do a lot of things, it's going to help you now. So just go over to www.evergreenrevenueplaybook.com. Again, www.evergreenrevenueplaybook.com. No Zelle app needed, no Cash App. You just show up, sign in, get it, and once you get it, just take it and grow your business and serve other folks and pay it forward. We're excited we can do that for you.
So Shay, what about those people out there that say, you know what, I want to learn more about the Comeback Champion? How can they get in contact with you and learn more about being a comeback champion?
One of the things we're blessed with people like you, Eric, and you, Dr. Sakeisha, who have a heart to give and you have a heart to serve. You have a message inside it that you want to share with other folks, and you want to pass your lessons on, and you believe in giving. So we have something called comebackchampionsummit.com, comebackchampionsummit.com, and the whole purpose of it is to serve, add value, serve and add value. Mother dear be happy because I'm quoting her again now. And my mom used to always say to folks, we had these positions, missionaries be at the front and then deacons, we had to pass out the plates. And she said, look, if you're going to serve, we don't need you. We need you to add value while you're there. We need you to smile when people come in. We need you to hand it to them and greet folks. You've got to add value while you're serving. That's where I learned that from. So you're going to serve plus add value. Go over to comebackchampionsummit.com. You can serve by just showing up and watching and listening and learning and taking the ideas and techniques and helping someone else. Or many of you have a story or a message. Say, hey, I got my hand up. I want to be one of the speakers. I got something I want to say. Go to comebackchampionsummit.com. Just follow the instructions. We love to share your message. We love to put you into the collaboration. Collaboration crushes competition.
Wow. And that is really, really powerful. So you guys, I hope you've been taking lots of notes. You know exactly why you need to be in that room so you can learn how to serve and add value to your clients. Learn how to serve and add value in your relationships. Learn how to serve and add value in your businesses, because we want your marriage and relationships to win. We want your businesses to win. We want your sales to increase in your business. So Shay, can you provide our listeners with just a closing nugget of wisdom? What's this one thing that you would like to leave them with?
Sure. First, I'd like to just say thank you, Eric and Dr. Sakeisha, for having this platform, Marriage Can Win. Anyone that's watching, I want you to hit the share button, take the link, pay the message forward. Make sure you follow Marriage Can Win. Anytime they do something, get a notification. Why? Because it's something that's going to educate you. Get a notification. Why? Because it's something that can empower you so you can empower other folks. So stay in the conversation. My closing comments to you, as you're out there listening right now, it's just one of our 12 rules for life. Everybody should have their own rules for life. And one of our 12 rules for life is that today is my January 1st. It's one of our core beliefs. It's one of our core philosophies. And you can tell yourself that right now, that today is my January 1st. Today is my January 1st. Today is my January 1st. And if you're hearing it for the first time, what it means in a minute is that you don't wait for the calendar to say January 1st so you can go out there and you can create some New Year's resolutions. Anytime you make a decision, and in that decision, it could change the trajectory of your life, that's a January 1st moment. And there's probably 1,000 decisions you can make. Make a decision you're going to work out, January 1st moment. Make a decision you're going to plan something for you and your wife or you and the person you're in a relationship with, a January 1st moment. It's a do-over. It's a fresh start. It means my past no longer equals my future. So today, for you listening right now, today is your January 1st. You can get your health back in stock. Today is your January 1st. Your relationship can be as happy, as blissful as you want. Today is your January 1st. You're going to grow that business. Today is your January 1st. If I'm you right now, tell yourself that today is my January 1st. Put your sunglasses on. The future is bright. And for you, the best is still yet to come. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Dr. Sakeisha. Y'all rock. Y'all are amazing. I'm out of here. My name is Shay Brown, by the way, the happy entrepreneur. Peace. See you soon.
All right. Thank you again so much, Shay, for joining us. And we thank you to all of our listeners and our viewers. Make sure that you follow us on all forms of social media, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under Marriage Can Win. Make sure you stay tuned, because we are going to be releasing our summit this year. You know, you've been asking, okay, when you guys going to have the next business summit? Well, we're going to be releasing it in July. So make sure you stay connected so you can get all of that information first. Don't forget, in September, we're having our Making Love Last retreat right here in Orlando, Florida. And like Eric said, don't forget to go ahead and download either on your website or even on your phone for those busy entrepreneurs on the go, the Marriage Can Win Academy. So that way, if you're shy about raising your hand publicly, saying that there's a struggle in your marriage, you can do it privately from the comfort of your own home, and we walk you through step by step. So thank you again for joining us, Shay, the happy entrepreneur, the sales team guru, and our favorite comeback champion. We hope you guys have an amazing day, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
And remember, only you could be the change that you want to see in your relationships. Until next time.